Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving deep into the software market today.
Hmm.
And we're not just talking about, the apps on your phone. We mean the huge engine powering global business, cloud platforms, enterprise systems,
Yeah.
the works.
Exactly. It's massive. And our guide for this deep dive is a recent article from Cognitive Market Research.
Right.
They've really done the heavy lifting, looking at the top companies, and maybe more importantly, the forces shaping this entire industry.
Yeah. So the mission today is really to cut through all that noise, figure out the key trends, see who the major players are, what they're up to.
And who's snapping at their heels.
Exactly. Who's challenging them.
And, the source kicks off with something pretty staggering right away. It highlights just how much this market is expected to, explode.
Explode how?
It projects a surge from, get this, about $735 billion in 2024
Okay.
to almost $1.8 trillion by 2032.
Wow, 1.8 trillion, that's almost tripling.
In less than a decade, yeah.
So that projected growth rate, what is it, 11.8% CAGR?
That's the one.
That's not just a number, is it? It really underlines how absolutely central software is becoming everywhere.
Couldn't agree more. It's foundational now.
So if that's the scale,
Yeah.
what's actually fueling this? What are the core forces the source identifies behind this massive growth?
Well, the report points to several key drivers. One of the biggest is just the relentless, ongoing digitization of, everything. Every industry.
Right. Businesses aren't asking if anymore, are they?
No, it's how fast. They need software to streamline operations, enable flexible work like remote teams, and just plain innovate. It's basic infrastructure now.
It feels like every company is becoming a software company in some way.
That's a good way to put it. And going hand in hand with that is cloud computing. The source really flags this as a massive accelerator.
How so?
Well, moving to the cloud just revolutionizes the whole delivery model. You shift from these big, expensive on-premise setups
Right, the old way.
to flexible, subscription-based models. Software as a service, or SaaS.
Which makes powerful tools accessible to way more companies, right? Even smaller ones.
Precisely. Democratizes it, in a way.
Okay, so digitization, cloud. What about the new tech that's always emerging?
Oh, absolutely critical. These emerging technologies are fundamentally changing what software can actually do. The source puts a big emphasis on AI, machine learning, IoT, blockchain too.
Not just buzzwords, then.
Definitely not. They're opening up completely new paths for automation, much smarter analytics, predictive capabilities, stuff that just wasn't feasible before.
And then there are those specific needs businesses have, the sort of non-negotiables.
Exactly. The report notes growing demand for really specialized solutions. As everything goes digital, you naturally see rising needs in cybersecurity, for instance.
Makes sense. More online activity, more threats.
Right. And managing huge amounts of data effectively. Navigating complex regulations. Compliance is a big one. Businesses need software tailored for these specific challenges.
Okay, so we see the scale, the drivers. It's huge. It's growing fast. But in a market moving this quickly, how does the Cognitive Market Research report suggest we evaluate who's leading and who's, a genuine contender? How do they size these companies up?
Yeah, good question. They lay out several key criteria that go beyond just looking at today's market share.
Like what?
Things like a company's capacity for innovation. Can they keep developing new things? How scalable are their products? Can they grow with a customer? Then there's the quality of customer support, how flexible the software is for integration with other systems.
Right. Does it play well with others?
Exactly. And just its overall relevance across different industries. Is it a niche product or broadly applicable?
So it's not just about who's biggest now, but who's built for the long haul and actually supports their users.
That's the core idea. The source really emphasizes that the leading players need platforms that are not just feature-rich and easy to use.
Important, but not everything.
Right. They also need to be genuinely interoperable, easily connecting with other systems a business uses, and, crucially, constantly updated. Stagnation is death in this market.
And I bet that cloud piece comes up again here.
Oh, critically. The report basically says cloud compatibility and delivering via SaaS, that's table stakes now. Not an advantage, just a requirement.
Businesses just expect that flexibility.
They do. They want that subscription model, the scalability.
Makes total sense. You want software that grows with you, connects easily, and isn't a headache to manage.
Absolutely. And another big factor the source highlights is customer centricity.
Meaning?
Things like having intuitive interfaces, Really good documentation and training, responsive support when things inevitably go wrong,
Yeah, it's huge.
and the flexibility for customization. All that stuff is crucial for keeping clients when there's so much competition.
And staying ahead through R&D, presumably.
Definitely. Continuous innovation is key.
Yeah.
Plus, having a strong market presence, global reach, and particularly the source flag's key ecosystem partnerships.
Like working with the big cloud providers.
Exactly. Think alliances with AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. Those partnerships give companies a huge strategic edge in terms of reach and integration.
Okay, so applying that whole framework, who does the report actually identify as the, let's say, the top 5 players running the show right now?
Based on that analysis, and market share figures, they name 5 giants leading the pack.
And leading that pack, I imagine, is a name we all know.
Microsoft Corporation. No surprise there. They hold a dominant 12.4% market share.
Wow.
And, well, their legacy strength is obviously Windows and the Office suite.
Still everywhere.
Still everywhere. But the report really underscores that the massive growth engine now is the Azure cloud platform.
Positioning them directly against AWS?
Directly. And the source also points to their smart acquisitions like LinkedIn and GitHub, which really bolster their whole ecosystem.
Right, makes them stickier.
Exactly. And they're pouring money into integrating AI and automation across everything, from Office 365 to Azure services.
Okay. And coming in second.
Alphabet Inc., Google's parent company, right behind Microsoft at 11.2%.
Their foundation is different, though, right? Search and ads.
Primarily, yes.
Yeah.
Google Search, Google Ads. That's the cash cow. But the report highlights their major strength and productivity, too, with Google Workspace.
The Microsoft Office competitor.
Precisely. And they're a huge player in cloud with Google Cloud Platform, or GCP.
Which is really gaining ground, isn't it?
It is. The source notes it as a key challenger to both AWS and Azure. And they're investing heavily, especially in AI and machine learning, integrated right into GCP.
Plus, Android on mobile. Can't forget that.
Huge platform advantage there, absolutely.
Okay, number 3 on the list.
Oracle Corporation. They hold about 7.5% market share.
Known traditionally for databases, right?
Exactly. Oracle database is kind of the standard for really critical business data. But they're also massive in enterprise resource planning, ERP.
The big systems that run companies' finance, HR.
All that core stuff. And they made a big push into the cloud with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI.
And the report highlights something specific about their strategy.
Yes, their investment in what they call autonomous databases, using machine learning so the database can kind of self-manage, automate tuning and patching.
Interesting.
And their big focus now is getting their existing massive customer base migrated to the cloud, pushing their Oracle ERP cloud solution.
Got it. And number 4.
SAP SE, the German giant. They have about 5.3% share.
Another ERP heavyweight.
Absolutely. Globally known for their SAP ERP systems, especially in large organizations. Like Oracle, the report shows their major strategic focus now is shifting to the cloud with their flagship SAP S/4HANA.
And integrating new tech there, too.
Very much so. Integrating AI, real-time analytics. They also have their SAP Analytics Cloud platform and are known for deep, industry-specific versions of their software.
Tailored solutions. Okay, and rounding out the top 5.
Salesforce, Inc. They hold 4.7%.
The CRM leader.
Clearly identified as the leader in customer relationship management. Think Sales Cloud, Service Cloud. Tools for managing customer interactions.
And they've expanded beyond just CRM, haven't they?
Massively. The report notes they've built out the Salesforce platform, allowing customers to build their own apps on top of Salesforce. And they've been super aggressive with acquisitions.
Like who?
MuleSoft for integration, Tableau for data visualization, and of course, Slack for collaboration.
Yeah, Slack was huge. Seems like they're building a whole business operating system.
That's the goal, I think. The source emphasizes their focus on delivering AI-driven insights right within the platform and building out that whole integrated cloud ecosystem.
Okay, so those are the giants. But the market's not static, right? The report talks about emerging players posing real threats.
Absolutely, and this is where it gets really dynamic. These aren't just small startups. Some are established companies finding new angles, like Adobe Inc.
Adobe. Beyond Photoshop and PDF.
Way beyond. They've made a massive push into cloud services focused on customer experience management. Think marketing tech, advertising tech, analytics, all under their Adobe Experience Cloud umbrella.
Using AI there, too.
Heavily. Leveraging AI for personalized marketing, predictive analytics. They're competing in a different space now.
Interesting pivot. Who else is shaking things up?
IBM Corporation, Big Blue. The report highlights their major reinvention. They're really focusing on software-led transformations now.
Oh, so.
Their AI capabilities with Watson, hybrid cloud services, which got a massive boost from acquiring Red Hat,
Right, that was key.
and enterprise automation tools, they're trying to be the partner for large-scale digital transformation.
Okay. And Intuit, you mentioned them QuickBooks, TurboTax.
Yeah.
How are they a threat?
Well, the report notes that Intuit is expanding way beyond just those core financial tools. They're building an AI-driven ecosystem specifically for small and medium-sized businesses, SMEs.
Like an all-in-one platform.
Kind of, adding automation, payroll, business insights, partly through big acquisitions like Credit Karma and MailChimp, aiming to be this central hub for running a small business.
Okay, that makes sense. And ServiceNow. They seem to pop up everywhere these days.
They really do. ServiceNow is flagged as disruptive because of their digital workflow platform.
What does that actually mean, workflow?
It means they unify tasks and processes that usually sit in different departments, like IT support tickets, HR onboarding processes, customer service requests.
Ah, connecting the dots.
Exactly, making it all seamless on one cloud-based platform. The report highlights how they drive efficiency for modern workplaces.
Okay. And one more mention was Palantir Technologies. They're a bit different, aren't they?
Very different angle. Palantir focuses on really sophisticated data analytics platforms, Foundry for commercial, Gotham for government.
What's their threat?
The report says they challenge traditional business intelligence tools, even some aspects of ERP, by specializing in integrating and analyzing vast, complex data sets, making sense of messy data.
Where are they strong?
Particularly strong in sectors like defense intelligence, but also healthcare, manufacturing, logistics, anywhere dealing with huge data volumes and needing real-time decisions.
So these emerging players, they're not just building another CRM or ERP. They're attacking specific problems or using tech differently.
That's exactly it. The source points out their success often comes from emphasizing these cutting-edge approaches, really leaning into AI, building cloud native from the ground up for flexibility.
Digging deep on data.
Deep on data analytics, yeah. And crucially, often focusing on those vertical-specific solutions, those niche problems the giants might overlook.
Yeah.
Their agility and focused innovation are the key differentiators.
So let's switch gears slightly. If you're a company trying to break into this incredibly competitive software market, or maybe an investor looking for the next disruptor, what does the cognitive market research report say? What are the keys for new entrants to actually succeed?
Yeah, the report offers several pretty clear insights on that. A key focus, it suggests, should be developing AI-powered vertical-specific solutions.
Don't try to boil the ocean.
Exactly. Don't try to build the next Microsoft Office. Instead, deeply understand the unique pain points in one specific industry, healthcare, finance, agriculture, whatever it is, and build software to solve those problems really well.
Focus, focus, focus.
Right. Also, building modular cloud-native platforms is seen as crucial.
Meaning?
It means architecting your software in flexible, independent pieces. It allows for faster deployment, easier scaling as you grow, and critically, makes it much simpler to integrate with other systems using APIs.
So it fits into the customer's existing world more easily.
Precisely. And you got to leverage those emerging technologies we talked about. That's not just for the big players.
How can smaller players use them?
Well, using things like machine learning, generative AI, maybe robotic process automation, even blockchain where it makes sense. That's how you create differentiation. Offer predictive maintenance, automate tedious tasks, provide smarter diagnostics, use tech to deliver unique value.
And making it accessible seems key too.
Absolutely vital. The report stresses affordability and, crucially, a great user experience.
Especially for smaller businesses or certain markets.
Exactly. Especially for SMEs or in emerging economies. There's a huge appetite for software that's easy to buy, easy to implement, maybe even low-code or no-code platforms that don't require deep technical skills to use.
Lowering the barrier to entry for users.
Right. And thinking globally from the start. The report highlights geographic expansion into high-growth regions as a really promising path. Digital transformation is happening everywhere.
And you need to play well with the existing tech giants.
You really do. Platform integration is crucial. Offering good APIs so others can connect to you, or even forming strategic alliances with the major cloud providers like AWS, Azure, GCP, that enhances your interoperability.
Makes you a safer bet for enterprises.
Definitely. And finally, there's something that feels less like an option and more like a necessity now.
Which is?
Building with sustainability and data ethics in mind, right from the beginning, and ensuring you comply with regulations like GDPR, CCPA, whatever is relevant.
That's not just nice to have anymore.
No, the report suggests it fosters essential trust with customers. And in some cases, it can actually be a market enabler, allowing you to sell into regulated industries or regions that demand those high standards.
Okay, so pulling this all together, this deep dive into the cognitive market research view,
Mhm.
what's the big picture? What does it tell us about the state of the software world right now?
Well, it paints a clear picture of a market undergoing incredibly rapid, almost constant transformation,
Driven by.
driven by that relentless push for digitization we talked about, the demand for more automation everywhere, and the deep, deep integration of AI and advanced analytics into pretty much all software solutions.
And the big guys, Microsoft, Alphabet, they're still leading.
They are leveraging their massive ecosystems, their huge cloud investments, but, and this is key, they are absolutely not unchallenged.
Right, there's emerging threats.
Exactly. The report highlights significant pressure from agile, innovative players. Adobe, ServiceNow, Palantir, others who are finding success by really focusing on cutting-edge tech, solving very specific problems, or carving out niches the giants might have missed or are slower to address.
So what's the ultimate takeaway from the source for anyone in this space, big or small?
I think the core message is that success today, and likely tomorrow, hinges on a few key things. Relentless AI-driven development is critical. Mastering cloud technologies and cloud-native approaches. Ensuring your software plays well with others' interoperability. And, maybe above all, constantly adapting to what users actually need and what the regulatory environment demands. Innovation isn't optional. It's the currency of this market.
That really sums it up well. Okay, here's a final provocative thought for you, building on all this. If innovation, AI, cloud native, vertical focus, these are the key differentiators for both the giants trying to stay ahead and the challengers trying to disrupt. What comes next? What will be the next fundamental technology or approach that completely reshapes this already incredibly dynamic landscape?